Reverend Catherine Blake is a marvelous chef and an interfaith minister. She has studied herbal medicine for over 30 years, as well as nutrition and nutritional biochemistry. Her interest in women's health and animal care is well supported by her knowledge of aromatherapy, homeopathy, Ayurveda, natural veterinary care, and Chinese medicine. Today, Reverend Catherine Blake will share with Supreme Master Television viewers a few recipes from her cookbook. Healthy recipes for friends, simple, soothing, and pure.
Aloha, friends. Welcome to Vegetarianism, the Noble Way of Living. In today's show, we'll be learning some simple and fun dressings and sauces that I have prepared and created in my time teaching cooking at the University of Hawaii in Maui. My name is Catherine Blake, and I enjoy teaching people how to cook healthy food that is good for the planet, good for your health, and wonderful tasting. So, in today's class, we'll be learning a walnut salad dressing, which is a very fun dressing. Here we have whole walnuts out of the shell. They have a sweet taste. This is okra. It's an unusual, wonderful vegetable that is very soothing and very nutritious. Umeboshi plum vinegar is one of my favorite vinegars. It has a bit of a salty, tangy flavor, and it's very wonderful. When using black pepper, it's wonderful to grind it fresh because it's so much more tangy and lively than when it's been dried and powdered for a long time. We have sesame oil. This one is from the black sesame seeds. They're a little bit heartier and deeper nourishing. They're good for replenishing strength after someone has given birth, for example, and they are very delicious and deep noted. I often use tamari, which is a naturally fermented soy sauce, as this is. I always prefer organic, and the naturally fermented is a nice, smooth soy sauce. Bragg's apple cider vinegar, well, that's a classic in the field. Here we have another sesame oil, which is not black sesame oil, but regular sesame oil. It still has a delicious nutty flavor, but is not quite so deep and hearty as the black sesame seed. We've got fresh cauliflower florets. Those will be steamed. We have a carrot for the salad, celery for the salad, and a garlic. We'll start with the garlic for the walnut salad dressing. Now, all the dressings can be different. Some are tangy, some are sweet, some are syrupy. So they don't all need garlic, but when I'm making a salad dressing, I almost always use garlic. Okay, with garlic, fresher garlic is tight in its skins. It's still hard and white. So that's the garlic you want to be using. What I like to do is cut off the end first. I can do 2 at a time, both ends. If the cloves are larger, then we can use 3, but today we'll use 4. You can go like this to squish the skins, and that way the garlic comes free of the garlic skin. So because we'll be using a blender, I can throw them in whole. We'll add the cup of water. We'll add 1½ cups of walnuts. We'll be wanting 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. We'll be using 2 tablespoons of the soy sauce, the organic soy sauce. This deepens the flavor. I'm going to mix 1 tablespoon of the dark sesame, black sesame seeds, because they're so much more flavorful. And 2 tablespoons of the regular sesame oil. 1, 2. Let's not forget the umeboshi plum vinegar, which is wonderful. It's nice to use 2 vinegars in a dressing. It brings out different flavors This one will add a tangy flavor to it, salty and tangy. And then we're on to the black pepper. So just grind that. There's nothing like freshly ground spices. They have so much more life and flavor than the dried spices. And that's about it. So we'll now blend up the dressing and see how it goes. I'd say that's about right. So then what we do with this is we set it aside and get ready to make our salad ingredients. This dressing could be used on vegetables or rice or potatoes or salads. Today we'll be using it on salads. It's rather thin. If I wanted to make it thicker for a thicker sauce, then I would add more walnuts. So now we'll get our salad ingredients ready. Now what's interesting about that is that the outer peel is got the minerals of the carrot. It's got the stronger skin, which provides more minerals for us. So what I do is I wash carrots very well and I scrub them with soap and water and a scrub brush at home before I grate them or peel them. So in this case, I'm using the peeler to create carrot stripes. Carrots are very high in beta-carotene, which is an antioxidant form of vitamin A. It helps protect you from catching colds or helps resist infections. So it's amazing how much vitamin A in the form of beta-carotene is in a carrot. Okay, there's a good start for the carrots. Celery is another nice food. It's got natural sodium, so for people who are wanting to include natural sodium in their diet, this is the kind that is the best. It's diuretic, so it helps if someone is having a lot of water retention or swollen ankles or whatever, then this would be helpful for that. I like to chop it quite fine. I find that when I chop the vegetables more finely, the salad has a more blended flavor. Any kind of mixed salad green mix is wonderful. I happened to get this one at Trader Joe's and it's a herb salad mix, so it'll have a lot of deep flavored leafy green vegetables. So I'll open this and we'll add it to the vegetables. I went to the Loving Hut in Milpitas yesterday and I had the most amazing gourmet vegan meal I have had. It was just amazingly wonderful. If you live anywhere near there, try the Loving Hut restaurant in Milpitas if you want to try vegetarian and vegan food at its best. So here's a small salad, which will be satisfying for us, and we'll have that with the salad dressing in a little while. We have this combination of wild rice and long grain brown rice, and it looks like red Wahani rice. This is a wonderful mixture. It's nice to have the different flavors of the brown rices. It's nice to have the wild rice, which is the most potent flavored and most potent energetically of the rices being grown wild. The long grain brown rice provides vital B vitamins for our system, so we keep healthy and our energy burns smoothly when we eat this rice. The nutritional cheesy melt sauce is one of my favorite recipes. I use it whenever I would want cheese on top of something, but don't want to eat the dairy cheese. Well, I suppose the question is, why would I not want to eat the dairy cheese? Over time, I have learned that eating dairy cheese from cow's milk creates congestion in the body. It creates more sinus congestion, more throat congestion, and it is very possible to live a good life without having that. This recipe for nutritional, cheesy yeast melt sauce is a wonderful recipe, and you'll enjoy it time and again. It can be made sharp or soft. It can be made tangy or sweet. So you can really imitate the different cheeses you're used to. You can even use it on pizzas and make it thick so it will melt. It's a wonderful idea. It doesn't have to be Cal brand, but this is a pretty good brand. The good tasting nutritional Red Star yeast is also an excellent brand, and that is found in flakes in health food stores quite often. We'll be using extra virgin olive oil. If it's extra virgin olive oil, you can also be sure that it hasn't been processed with hexane and other chemical solvents. It could not be called extra virgin if it were. Most oils, most nuts and seeds are prepared with chemical solvents and hexane. This is not healthy for us, and it's not a good idea. Here we have whole wheat flour. This will go into making the sauce more thick, like a gravy almost. I use organic whole wheat flour whenever possible. We're going to use sea salt. We'll also be using garlic in this recipe. The garlic will give it that tangy edge to your tongue that you're used to with cheese, with eating cheese. And a surprise ingredient, mustard. It can be any kind of mustard. This happens to be French's yellow mustard, the kind that you can find in any store anywhere. I will chop the garlic fairly fine and then put it into the pan with a little bit of olive oil. I find it easy to chop the garlic and then remove some of the skins. Once the garlic's chopped into little pieces, the skins fall right off. For this recipe, we'll be wanting the garlic in small pieces so that it can be accessed through every bite of the sauce. I'll add 1.5 tablespoons of olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, and we'll see how this garlic cooks up. I'll now add the other ingredients. We have 1/2 cup of whole wheat flour. We have 1/2 cup, the same amount, of nutritional yeast. We have a teaspoon of salt. That might seem like a lot, but when we're making a cheese, it does have a salty flavor when there's a lot of salt in it. Let's scoop this out. This is a nice sea salt. And I'll use 1.5 tablespoons of yellow mustard. This amount of mustard can be adapted. You can add more or less depending on how sharp you would like your cheese to be. And we add 1.5 cups of water. I'll just add 1 cup at first and stir it in. Now I'll turn on the oven again, add the heat. We have to blend it. It's a lot like making a gravy. Okay, it's starting to gel beautifully. I haven't quite got boiling yet. I'm waiting for it to boil. Low boil, simmer would be better. You can see how it's thickening up to a paste. The advantage of this recipe is you're also getting the nutritional yeast that provides extra B12 and the B vitamin complex in your system. So that's a wonderful energy booster for you. Now I'd better add some more water. It's starting to cook too much at once. The thickness that it is now is just about perfect for a topping. Before I added the water, it was starting to congeal. If you would like to make it meltable, add 2 tablespoons of cornstarch and cook it in the same way, the same recipe. That way, it will hold its melting texture and you can use it over pizzas. Somewhere between a mozzarella and a cheddar cheese. And it's just about perfect, the texture right now. So we will be turning off the heat, and this can be served immediately over the okra and cauliflower that we cooked earlier. I always enjoy cauliflower with a sauce, and this is the perfect sauce for cauliflower. That's just about perfect. All right.
Blessed viewers, thank you for joining us for today's episode of Vegetarianism, the Noble Way of Living. Join us again on Friday for part 2 of Aloha Sauces, the Magic of Vegan Condiments with Chef Catherine Blake, where the Reverend will show us how to make the dessert banana sauce. To learn more about Reverend Catherine Blake and her work with holistic health, please visit www.naturalhealthwizards.com.
For more details, please visit www.suprememastertv.com/VEG.